What's up, YouTube? And welcome back. Out today on the Road Glide Limited. Kind of a cloudy, overcast day and maybe 70 degrees. And what looks like some pretty good thunderclouds up in the distance there. I don't think I'll be going that far. Presently on US 1 in Franklinton, North Carolina. Chipping away at that 1,000 miles to get to the first service. And not quite there yet, but work kind of gets in the way. Even though I only work a couple days a week. But I'll get that 1,000 miles in really quickly and get the service done and be good to go for the rest of the season. The riding season doesn't really end for me here. I pretty much ride year-round unless there's snow or sand or salt on the roads. And when that happens, it's only there for a couple of days and the roads are clear again. We have some pretty mild winters here. So the bike is never really put up for the winter time or winterized or anything like that. So a couple of days ago, I saw a video by Bodine52 and he talked about the 5 things that he really loves about this bike. And being that I have the same exact motorcycle down to the color, I agree completely with him. I've got a few things that I don't like about this motorcycle. And none of them are deal breakers, but they're annoying just the same. So I guess in order of least to most disliked for me, I'll start with number 3 would be the rear suspension. Now, the stock suspension actually feels pretty good. The bike rides very smoothly whether I'm by myself or my wife is with me. The thing I don't like about it is that unlike my previous couple of electric glides that both had air adjustable suspension, this one does not. It's got a single-sided dial adjuster on the left shock, and while it does a really good job of providing a good ride either solo or 2-up with baggage, etc., adjusting it is a royal pain. Got to take the left saddlebag off. I just kind of unscrew it and lean it against my legs so I'm not scratching it up. And I have to reach in right by the left side cover and turn the adjuster knob until I get the preload set to where I want it. Not a real big deal, but it's not convenient. And as crappy as that old air suspension was, and being prone to leaks and blowing out the air shock, etc., that was so much easier to adjust. Number 2, I would say, is the heat from this 114 motor. Now, I used to laugh when I read about people complaining about the heat coming off a Harley Davidson motor. It's an air-cooled motor, it's gonna be hot. Even with the twin cooling system, it's still an air-cooled motor, and it's still gonna be hot. And if it's 90 degrees in the summertime, guess what? It's really gonna be hot. I never found a problem with the heat on any of my previous electric glides or the other road glide that I own. Now, when the ambient temperature is hot, that's just the way it is. So I would always chuckle about the complaints about how hot the Harley motor is. Well, boys and girls, let me tell you, this 114 motor runs hot. When it's 90 degrees outside and stop and go traffic, it is really, it's almost unbearable. And the cooling fans run an awful lot on this bike, I've noticed. Whether at a stoplight or when I shut down and get off, the fans are going for a minute or two. So I guess the way around that is changing the head pipe, losing the cat, and changing the mufflers and the air intake and adding a tuner and yada yada yada. I won't be doing any of that. Not for a little while anyway, but you know, I'm done with loud. I'll put up with the heat. So I guess the other way to avoid that is just keep on moving. When you're moving, it's not bad at all. But in stop and go traffic, 114 motor is really hot. I can live with it. And then the number one thing that I hate about this bike, that I really can't do much about, is the radio and tack and speedo cluster on the road glide. If you look at it, they have an angle, kind of like that. And with the newer boombox with the glass screen, like an iPhone, I guess, the angle of these things, including the gauges on the side, by the way, the angle is such that if you have sun behind you at all, the glare just burns my eyeballs, and there's nothing I can do about that at all, except ride into the sun for as long as possible so the sun is not behind you, or ride at night. But if you're heading west on I-40 and you're leaving in the morning and it's a sunny day, you're going to have that sun reflecting off of all this glass up here, and it's a hazard really, because it just goes straight to your eyeballs and there's really no getting around it. Not so much of a problem with the side gauges, fuel and charging, but with those two, the turn signal indicators are in there. So if you have glare on those gauges, you can't really see if the indicator is still on when you don't want it to be, or make sure it's on when you do want it to be. You can't see it. You also can't see the neutral indicator. I think it's a hazard personally, but again, I'll live with it. I find that it's a little bit better with polarized sunglasses than it is with the flip down sun shield that's built into this Shoei Neotec helmet. But in either case, it's not good. That's the thing I hate the most about this bike. None of them are deal breakers. I wouldn't give up the motorcycle because of those three things. Just something to be aware of. Kitro, where the speed limit is reduced to 45 miles an hour, and it is enforced. I just set the cruise control to 42 and cruise on through, and I have no problem at all. Kitchener Grocery is always a busy place. cemetery up here off to the right. It's pretty cool. I was there once before. It's a neat place. Highway 39 in Henderson. It's a bad spot here. Really can't see who's coming over the hill. All right. At the YouTube analytics lately, the channel has gotten something like 2,600 views in the past 28 days. So a big thank you to everybody who's been watching. The nonsense that I put up there, it's not cinema quality. I have no fancy intros or outros or logos. I just record, edit, and post. So big thank you to everybody who's been watching the channel the past 28 days or so. It's really kind of taken off, and I don't know why. Picked up about 12 subscribers in the past 28 days. Puts me at about 48, I think, and I appreciate every single one of them. Some of the subscribers that I know off the top of my head, the recent ones are Duke Brars, if I'm saying that right, Photo Rider 41, I think there was Greg Livingston, there's a Greg Saville, and so thank you to everybody. The remaining subscribers, I don't know who you are, because of privacy settings. Not everybody who subscribes has that information listed publicly. And that seems to be true for, I'd say about probably 80% of my subscribers. I don't know who you guys are, but I do appreciate all the subscriptions and the views. Those are my three gripes about the Road Glide Limited, or this particular one. Other than that, I absolutely love it. It suits my style of riding perfectly. Very comfortable for me as a solo rider, or two up with a passenger, and plenty of storage space, and plenty of power with the 114 motor. it up here. Thanks for watching. Thanks for subscribing and all the views. And I'll catch you the next time.